G'day, hey, this is step one of preparing yourself to take samples. It happens back at home where you prepare all your gear that you need when you're out at sampling. So the first thing you've got is just the address for the chili bin that you're going to send it off to. You've got your sampling book for recording all your details about your sampling, keeping your notes. You've got your various sampling forms which will get sent with you. And that's for filling out to indicate to the lab what's being sampled. You've got your plastic bags for putting the shellfish in them, 2 sampling bags, also a plastic bag just for putting your sampling forms and keeping them dry in the chili bin. You've got your water sampling jars, you've got your chili bin, and you've got your ice packs and frozen water which will insulate the samples and transport to the lab. Samples have to get there within 24 hours and they've got to get there at under 10 degrees. So it's really important you've got enough ice material in case it's delayed. So as part of that, I'm going to pack all your chili bin, just ready to go. You're going to tape on your address with a bit of tape, and you always take a bit of sampling tape with you just to wrap up the chili bin at the end. Another step is that you can begin to complete some of the sampling bag info. Just these Glad wrap bags are really good because they zip really tight and you can actually write on them. So the date's the 10th of August, the 16th. The sampling site is, in this instance we'll say Te Kapa Inlet. So you put its code, Te Kapa, and you're going to write oysters. Important, you're just going to put your, I guess your name. So Dan Lovell. There you go. So that's an example. So you pre-prepared it all, so you don't have to write it on the day, and you can do the same just on your water sample. So yeah, it's just about getting prepared so you don't have to muck around and you can just pull it out all on the day, so it's good to go. And that's how you do it. So another good thing is to just keep a really basic sampling book. Like, you don't want to make it too complicated, but just so you've got a record of what you've taken on the day. So we've got the date today, so 8th of August. So again, the site's Te Kapa, so we'll just fill this out. We're going to send it to the Cawthron lab, and the sample type is oysters. And again, you just repeat that for each sample you take and just build up a bit of a library as you change the dates over time. And that's another good thing to do, is just keep a record of your own personal sampling. Having a bucket's also a good idea, just to have on hand so that you can transfer your shellfish samples to, just while you're, I guess, to stop being messy, and just take them back on board the boat or back at the truck so that you can package them into the samples without getting everything wet. If that can work for you, do that. So you're at your sampling site ready for collection. You've got your bucket for your shellfish collection, and you've got your water sampling bottle to take a water sample. So first thing we'll do, we'll just take a water sample. As you can see, I've filled out all the right details about the sample that the lab can ID it by. Here it is. And you can see what we do is it's sealed. You take off the lid. You always keep it down so no bugs can get into it. And this is just a case of taking a surface sample. So you wait for it to, all the silt that you might have kicked up to settle. So you see me coming down to scoop. Take a sample. See, the head always keeps down. Tighten it on. And that's your water sample. So we'll put that in the chili bin. Excuse me, my son. So that's that. And now we'll take some shellfish samples. At the moment I'm going to take cockles, but what we need is essentially enough shellfish that we can test for 200 grams of meat per sample. So in oysters that's generally a dozen, and in tuatua it's probably dozen to 15. So yep, here I go. Grabbing a few cockles. I only grab 7 or 8. Normally, as I said before, we'll grab 200 or so. But it's just the idea of showing you how to do it. So we'll come back, bring it back to where our gear is. And this is the key. This is why we've got 2 sampling bags. It's called the double bag method. So the first one, we wrote all our sampling details on. That can be our outside bag. We've got our inside bag. Get our Shellfish go on. These zip locks work really well. We'll zip it. The idea is we put it in 2 bags just in case the first one breaks and spills. Water doesn't get everywhere and make a big mess. So yep, pretend there's enough samples for 200 grams of meat, which is what the lab requires. Into the second bag, it's called the double bag method. Get all the air out. And we'll put that in the chili bin with our sample. As you can see, we want plenty of ice to be packed out. Oh, sorry, keep it. Plenty of ice to be packed around it. So we've got the chiller pads. Chuck one on top. Another one on top. Maybe another ice pack in there. Your sample's ready to go. Tape around the side so it won't get loose in transit. And you're ready to call the courier for the sample to be picked up. So now you've taken the samples, you just need to update your sampling book with the details, the date, where you got it from, what lab you're sending it to, and what the specimen is, whether it's oysters, or in this case cockles, seawater to be tested for phytoplankton. And if you're testing for bacteria, often send that to Northland lab testing, you want to take a note on the sampling form of the environmental conditions at the time. For example, when you look out at this water here, it's a bit muddy, a bit dirty, so you'd record, water's a bit brown. You'll record the state of the tide. You see some of the birds over there. There's some birds close to the sampling site because they can be a source of E. coli and contamination. And any other sort of pollution sources as if there was, just basic stuff that if we do have a problem in the results, we can get an idea of some of the factors that might have been caused it. For example, if we had really high bacteria levels, we could say the water's really murky, indicating lots of runoff from the land. So trying to understand that on the sampling form when we tie it together. So record all those details on the forms I'll give you about the environmental conditions. You'll put the sampling form in another little Ziploc bag. This is for the one to go to the lab. The lab will need that so I can tie in your sample with the paperwork. So that's the sampling form to the lab. Again, that goes in the chili bin. You don't want it to get wet because it's a bit of paper. So bang in there. And the other, you'll send through me a bit of paperwork. Take a photo of it. Send me photos of all the paperwork you've done. Don't worry about sending it in the mail. And yeah, you're good to go. The last step now that you've got your sample is just to organise the pickup with the courier. You need to make sure that the courier is getting it and sending it overnight, so it's getting at that lab that next morning. G'day, hey, I'm after Jim the courier. Oh, g'day Jim, hey, it's Cam here. Hey mate, ready to pick up the sample from Queen Street. I'm going to drop it off, yep, if you can get it away overnight. Okay, great, yep, all the labels are on. Cheers mate, bye. As part of knowing what to sample each week, we'll be emailing you through calendar alerts. So if you've got the iPhone or the smartphone or whatever works for you, to your email we can send it. Click up on your calendar the day, each Monday you check it. And the different things, it will come up with what to sample, when and where, and so that you know each day when you're going out what you're grabbing and where you're sending it to and what paperwork you'll need. Your final message of sampling is be prepared. Make sure you've got all your gear checks, know what you're sampling, when you're sampling, package everything properly and time it with your courier so it gets to the sampling lab site for testing within 24 hours. That's the goal, under 10 degrees, less than 24 hours, following the procedure, it's all sorted. Choice.